welcome to Bits and Bobs,
the show where we bring you
tabletop gaming news and entertainment
from around the globe.
So grab a nice coffee and sit back.
And let us welcome you to our table.
Hello, I'm back again. If you haven't guessed, I'm recording all the videos on the same day, but bear with me. This is Fertessa, Allyse, and I am doing board game etiquette once again. The thing that I wanted to talk about today was actually how to engage people who are not into board games. I believe that when it comes to sharing our hobbies, you can either toe the line of like geeking out so much that the person is overwhelmed and they have no idea what you're talking about, or, you know, keeping it so minimal that they don't really understand why you like it so much and they're like, okay. But one thing that I really love is when the people that I love are into some of the same things that I'm into, and they don't have to like just love board games, but if I can get them to play a board game, it just makes me so happy because I really enjoy the social interaction of it. And because of that, what I find myself doing is figuring out how to pitch board games. As a board game designer, I've had to learn how to pitch my own games in order to get publishers and playtesters interested in playing them. But I find that the same skill is needed to get casual and non-gamers interested in a new game. So I like to have a couple of gateway games or, you know, lighter games at hand that I can explain and make exciting in the span of a minute so that, you know, whenever I bring it up, the person I'm talking to will be interested. And I've actually had that work. I describe the drama of it. Like if I talk about the mind, I'm like, okay, bear with me. I have this game, all right, all cards. And imagine it is super simple, 1 to 100, right? But you have to guess what the other person is thinking. Now, I skipped some things. Let's go back. Everybody has to draw cards, right? Imagine it. You have a card, I have a card, and we're just playing, and you have a 7, and I have a 57. And the object of the game is to get the cards numerically aligned. So you want to go from 1 to 100, right? You have that there, and we have to put them down in order without talking. Just think about it. Yes, that is the mind. And like the way that you convey it, your excitement, your energy, and just like giving the points that make the game special to you is so important. And maybe I didn't sell the mind to you, but it helped with some other people, you know? And they're like, okay, sure, I'll play it. But just if you want to get people around you who are into games to engage with your hobby, then I recommend trying to come up with 1-minute pitches for these games to make it compact so that you aren't overwhelming them, 1, but 2, so that you can get to the juicy part and you can give them even more games, because if it's 1 minute each, you could be explaining 3 games in one conversation and they're just like, well, maybe that one or that one, that sounds, you know, it sounds a lot more interesting. They have more choices. It's easier for them to like take it in, take all the details, and just know, okay, this sounds fun. You know, I've never done it, usually don't do it, but if you can break it down like this, then it can't be that hard. So definitely recommend figuring out how to pitch your favorite games and, you know, bring new people into the hobby. All right, thank you.
Hi, it's Stella from Maple University and the Dice Tower. Firstly, I want to thank you so much for having me here at your last ever episode for Girls Game Shelf. I know you folks have been doing such great things, do great things for this community. This is a little bit of bittersweet for me because knowing that you are going to separate, but I'm sure it is a new beginning. You all have your own things you want to take care of. I'm sure you are going to pop up in social media. I can still chat to you. So for this, I am going to play this just for you with my bad recorder skill. That's it. I'm not going to torture you with more of those, but hopefully you will be able to contribute as you are to this board game community. I can't wait to see what each of you are going to do, and I will see you around. Bye.
Hey, I'm Danny, the marketing manager for Pandasaurus Games, but today I'm actually not going to talk to you about anything Pandasaurus related. I'm going to share a little bit of insight about what I do on my off time, which is translating rulebooks from French into English. You may have seen my work recently in the new version of Seven Wonders and all of its many expansions, or the recently released Katara. I don't think many of you are familiar with all of the effort that goes into localizing titles. So localizing meaning bringing games from their country of origin, in this case France and Belgium, into English-speaking countries. This is super common in our industry, and there are a lot of people working on this behind the scenes. So I'm here to peek behind the curtain a little bit. So I get sent the files, usually the French rulebook, all laid out beautifully in the PDF with illustrations, and I'll type into a Word document, putting headings and brackets where illustrations should go and all that. There are two obstacles that I try to overcome with each project. The first being actually translating and making it seem like it was a naturally English written game. So what I do is do a first pass, just rulebook on one side, my Word document on another, and just type. At this point, I'll leave comments for myself. So like, go back and double check this. Oh, does this rule mean A or does it mean B? And whatnot. This is not a pretty document, and it is nowhere near finished. So the next day, I'll look at it with a fresh pair of eyes. I will usually also read it out loud, which is a trick I learned in college. This makes sure that you don't sound like a robot, that there isn't any Franglish sprinkled in. Your brain was like, yeah, that sounds right. That's totally natural. But your mouth, when you're saying it, is like, I've never said these words together. So it's very helpful to catch any mistakes. I also ask my friends a lot, or I ask my friend Google, my best friend Google. This is very helpful. Synonyms for word A, or I'll describe a concept. I'm like, what is this word that everyone uses, but I cannot think of for some reason? That's usually what I experience. Obviously, the goal is to make it clear, concise, and still enjoyable to read, because the faster people learn and enjoy learning, the faster they will start playing and enjoying playing. With that being said, I want everyone to enjoy games, and so do the publishers I work with. So when translating concepts about the players themselves, I try to go one of two directions. I'll either use second person point of view, which is addressing the player, you, the player, yourself. So you can insert whatever gender you identify as. It's a much more personal and immediate effect. Or, there's bound to be times where addressing your opponents or multiple players. So in this case, I go with they, them pronouns, which is also its own hurdle because, they is also our plural pronoun. So there are times I have to rework the sentence structure, and it doesn't always match up with the French. But it's worth it to rephrase things, give things a little bit of extra thought to make sure that everyone is welcome in the game and can see themselves playing the game. And If I've achieved both of those things, clarity and inclusivity, then it's a successful project in my eyes. So if you want to check out what I've done, go play Seven Wonders or Katara right now.
Hi everyone, my name's Amanda Panda, and I'm here to talk about 5 ways that board games have changed my life. Number 1, I no longer have a dining room. Oops. My family doesn't usually use it anyways. I now use it as my board gaming and streaming area. Number 2, a lot of people play games just to have fun, but I've found that it's helped me health-wise. Maybe not physical health, but yes, mental health. I play a lot of games to relax, or de-stress, or connect with others. I have a family history of Alzheimer's, and that's really scary. But a lot of the puzzly aspects and strategic aspects of board games have helped keep my mind sharp. Number 3, I've learned a bit about myself and how my mind likes to work. What are my strengths and weaknesses when it comes to strategizing and dealing with luck? How I react to different situations and different people. These are all things that can carry over into other aspects of my life. Number 4, for me personally, I just watch a lot less TV. I'm taking in more board game content. I'm playing games with my friends online. I'm streaming about board games. And I'm not watching as much TV right now. It's great. I don't mind it. But I still take time for my favorite shows. Number 5. Lastly, and definitely not least, is all the new friends I've made. The older I get, the harder it is for me to make new friends, that especially if they're not connected to school, job, sports, or church. I've made amazing friends, both in real life and online. There's such a wonderful sense of community, and I'm very lucky to live in an area that has a whole bunch of board game stores, a board game cafe, and lots of meetup groups around board games. Streaming on Twitch has also allowed me to meet and play games with a bunch of people from around the world. And I'm so lucky to have friends that introduce me to other board gamers that are just as amazing. So in the comments below, please let us know how board games have changed your life. I really want to know.
Hi, I'm Niki, and I am here today to talk to you about pirates. Yes, pirates. Everybody loves them. If this wasn't true, then why are there a million Pirates of the Caribbean movies, right? And everyone has their favorite pirate, whether it's Jack Sparrow, basic. Captain Hook, better. Kermit, yes. And surprisingly enough, my favorite pirate is not Gina Davis from Cutthroat Island. I loved that movie as a kid. No, my favorite pirate is me. And I know you're thinking to yourself, like, what is she talking about? She looks like an average board gamer with an average, moderately priced IKEA table. And I'll tell you how I am a pirate. It's because of Forgotten Waters. Thanks to Forgotten Waters, I get to be the salty sea dog that I've always known I was deep inside. And you too can attempt to be a legendary pirate like me when you go on a fantastical adventure, searching out treasure, fighting sea beasts, and attempting to bring magic back into the world, fighting sea witches, which we all know are bad because we've all seen Disney movies. Sea witches are bad. You got to take them out. And the web app for Forgotten Waters is completely narrated, so it totally immerses you into the story.
We're going to hunt down that witch. We're going to
Call me
take her
crazy,
thrice-cursed
but that was a
heart.
real pirate. And make sure you keep your ears open for my lovely pirate voice and other members of the board game community like AnnaMaria, Ella, Stella, Rodney, Roy, and many more. Forgotten Waters plays 3 to 7 players. Yes, I said 7 players. This is like if an RPG and a party game had a baby, it'd be this little guy. And I know you're thinking again, hey, Niki, there's a pandemic going on. There's no way I'm getting together with 6 of my buddies. Well, guess what, friend? I'm here to tell you that there is a remote assistant available online to help you connect with your friends, and you can still be pirates, and it's super fun, and only one person needs a physical copy of the game. And also, there's a solo variant and a 2-player variant in the web app, so there's no excuse. Get out there, play Forgotten Waters. Let your inner
Pirate out. I want to say thank you to Girls Game Shelf for asking me to be a part of their very last Bits and Bobs episode. Woo! I know I speak for the entire board game community when I say that we cannot wait to see what each and every one of you gets up to next. Thanks!
Hi, I'm Beneeta, and yes, I'm in a hammock. Okay, today I'm going to talk about something that's different from my usual content, and I'm going to talk about social media. Social media is a great tool and will continue to be a great tool. It's a way to keep in touch with your friends and family who live far away. And in COVID times, it's great to keep in touch with people who live down the street. It's also a great way to find clients. It's a great way to connect with the community you're building. But a lot of social media is also unrealistic. It's someone's curated life that they want to show you. You don't know what's really going on underneath the surface. And, it's okay if you don't want to be vulnerable on social media. Like, I'm kind of uncomfortable right now filming this segment. But while someone's feed might show you how happy and wonderful they are, you have no idea what they're actually going through. And so I just want to leave with this message. Be kind. Rethink that snarky tweet or mean-spirited YouTube comment. If you yourself wouldn't want to receive that message, don't send that message. It can ruin people's days. I've gotten horrible messages on social media, and that shit really sticks with you, and it can make you really sad, and it can make someone not want to post again. And I'm not saying that just because people are going through stuff that excuses them from criticism. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying if your comment isn't really necessary, you don't need to tell me that, oh, my hair doesn't look good today. Thanks, I don't really need that from you. So at the end of the day, just be kind to one another. And if you ever want to talk, my DMs are always open. Thank you.
Hi, Heather O'Neill here from Ninth Level Games. And kind of to celebrate my newest release, which is Pavlov's Dogs, I got to thinking about games that were about dogs. We had also made a game about Schrodinger's cats, and that got me thinking about games that are about cats, of which there are many. So kind of thought for holidays coming up, people might want to hear my top 5 dog games and my top 5 cat games. So starting with cat games, because why not? Cats are better than dogs, in my opinion. Kitten, Kittin, is a brand new game. It's probably just releasing from Kickstarter this month, December. It is from Alley Cat Games, and it's got a cute little tin of wooden cats, and you stack them up in quick little challenges. It's very cute. Cheap little game. Calico, which is from Flat Out Games, where you sew a cozy little quilt for your cats to sleep on. Cat Lady, AEG game, which is where you draft cards to collect cats and food and toys, and basically just need to make sure you have enough food to feed the cats. Isle of Cats at number 2, which is from the City of Games, and that is a fill in the grid Tetris piece style game, but involving cats. And my favorite cat theme game that is not Schrodinger's Cats is Action Cats by Together Studios, where you draw a picture of a cat from a deck of cards and make up a story about them. Very, very cute. Moving on to dog games. Number 5 dog game. Good Dog, Bad Zombie. It's a game by Make Big Things. It is a co-op where you play dogs fighting zombies to save the city, it's very cute. Dirt Dog, which is on Kickstarter right now, which is by Hit 'em with a Shoe. And it's a tiny card game where you play tiny dog in tunnels trying to catch rats and mice. It's very, very cute. I would suggest checking that out. Here Comes the Dog. I think it's by Itten is how you say it. It is kind of an odd little dice game where you are trying to roll high enough to get enough food to feed all the humans and then also the dogs before the dogs get so hungry they come after you. Number 2, Dog, which is by Schmidt-Spiel, and it's an abstract Parcheesi style game where you play in teams. It's really fun. And my number one dog game that's not Pavlov's Dogs is We Rate Dogs by Chronicle, where you choose cute dogs to adopt and then you put them into a dog show. So suggest you check all of those out and buy some cute cat and dog games for Christmas and or your whatever holiday you're buying for. Also, just want to take a minute here to say thank you to Girls Game Shelf. You guys are awesome and we're going to miss you. And good luck to everything else you guys end up doing. Have a good one. Bye.
Hi everyone, this is Luna from Must Be Gamer Girl, and as you know, this is the last episode of Bits and Boobs. And I feel really honored that they have included me in this and their past videos. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about why board games are important for me. So Aspic comes from Asperger's, that is on the autism spectrum. So as an autistic person, certain things come harder or are just different for me and how my brain processes things. And actually, this is one of the reasons why board games are so important for me. I'm kind of new on board games in general, like when I was a kid, and I play a couple of games, but the board game community is not as big in Colombia. And I have always liked puzzles and stuff like that, but it was like around 4 years ago that I actually started like playing like, you know, Catan and like Carcassonne. Why I like it so much, it was not only because of the board game itself, but it was for me a new way to connect and interact with people, because that has been always a challenge for me. I think that the board game community is more aware and understanding on the way that I communicate and I interact with others. And one of my favorite parts of board games is that it gives me the opportunity to interact and socialize with people and share a common interest and share something that I really love and enjoy without having to talk or to make a small talk, which is something that I struggle a lot with. Board games itself have given me the opportunity to be able to interact with others and have friends, which is really cool. Then it comes the online board game community that I was not in touch with until COVID. And then it was like, I think 5 months ago, I posted my first media content. And since then, I have had so much love and support from so many people that I have never felt or have. And I'm really grateful to AnnaMaria because she was the first person that started involving me and even promoting my content when I was not sure what I was doing. And well, I am still not sure what I'm doing. But I keep getting more and more support from so many people that is like, just amazing. The board game community and especially the online community has gave me a space that I have never had before, where like things that I do or I like are considered cool and it's okay if I'm obsessed with certain things, like it's not a biggie. And I want just to say thank you for all of that, for all the support, for all the love, and I'm a little bit sad that Girls Game Shelf has come to an end, but I'm really happy for all the work that they have done on the community and for all the help that they have given to other people. And thank you again for making me feel part of this community.
Hello again. This is Fertessa Allyse, and I'm back with some more board game etiquette. This time I wanted to go over playtesting. It was inevitable that I get to it because I'm a game designer, but I think that playtesting is something that isn't as widely discussed with people who aren't game designers. So I just want to go over it. Playtesting is whenever a game designer has prototypes that they put out of a game that they're trying to get published or, just make for fun. And they have people play it and give their feedback about how they liked it, didn't like it, what didn't work about it, or, what they wish was different. The games are always unfinished, though some look more polished than others. Some might look like an actually published game, and some are just with pen and paper and scraps that they cut out with scissors that morning. But the thing that's important about playtesting and why I wanted to talk about it is because if you enjoy playing games, I highly suggest looking into playtesting. So, playtesting is not only, a way to help out other game designers and kind of influence the growth of a game, which in itself I think is fun. But the other thing about it is that you get to see the behind the scenes process of how a game is made. Because the game that you tested yesterday is going to be entirely different from the game that you test a year from now. And you could be testing it a year from now. It takes so long to make a game and to kind of pull all the elements together into what you see on store shelves. And I feel like it is a very easy way to give back to the community, but also really appreciate the hobby that you already enjoy. I also feel that, with the rise of appreciation in window shopping, Kickstarters, that this is also like that, where you are backing, you believe in this game, you're playing this game, and you're like seeing its growth over time. Like you kickstart something because you believe it's going to be great when it comes out, and you're willing to wait a year or year and a half until it gets delivered to you. But with playtesting, it's kind of the same thing, but you are directly in the making process, and you can see that it's going to be great, and you can have some say in how great it's going to be, because you could say, well, right now this isn't working for me, but I'm going to come play again because I want to make sure this is awesome. Well, it could already be awesome, but I want to make sure that I can help this be as awesome as possible in whatever capacity that I can. So I think that playtesting is an excellent way to really get involved, and I also feel like it's something that is easy to do from the comforts of your home. There are so many groups set up that already they set up print and play files. So if you have a printer, you could print it out, cut out the components, and play with your family, your friends in your home. Or in this age of COVID, you can also play digitally. There's Tabletopia, there's Tabletop Simulator. You join these digital playtesting groups that meet weekly, not monthly, not biannually. They meet weekly, and there are several of them for different regions and time zones. So you join them and you just hop on. You don't have to have any game, any qualifications. Just hop on, and they're just designers who are looking for their games to be tested at all times. They need different player counts. They don't necessarily have people around them who can test their games. And every bit of feedback is crucial and needed. So if you have time, if you have the interest, please look into playtesting. It is so helpful. It is so appreciated. And you might find that it's another fun aspect of the hobby that you hadn't enjoyed yet. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Bez, and I would like to talk about a good box. Now, I'll use a couple of my own games as bad examples, but let's start off with small boxes. I mean, if you're talking about small boxes, you can't get much smaller than the Packle games by Chris Handy or the Wallets games. Lots of them by Buttonchild, although this particular one's by Level 99, but you can get so much game in one of these, and you just pour it out and it's, wow, so much going on. But at the same time, boxes need to be big enough. So that's why I'm not going to begrudge this tiny bit of airspace up at the top. I'm going to say, yeah, that's good. You can actually just toss things in and be a bit free. It's got to be not only small enough, but I want my boxes to be big enough. And, here's an example of a box that fits the little wooden tokens perfectly. Is that not lovely? Now, it's not just about the size, it's about the fragility. And I was going to say that, a tuck box, whilst I'm proud of this, You put it in your bag, a bike clock's smacking against it, and eventually it's going to go. Which is why a two-piece box, yes, it costs more, but it's so worth it. And I appreciate a good box, but this isn't good enough because look at the edge. What's going on? You can't tell what game it is. That's why you want something like this, where it says clearly how many players is it for? What game is it? Yeah, we can put it on our shelves and read. And thumb holes. I love these thumb holes. They're brilliant because they allow you to open it a little bit more easily. I mean, gosh, I love thumb holes. And just having a nice box. So please look for an appropriately sized box for the environment, for easy transportation, for less shelf space. Just please, let's appreciate a nice small box. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to talk to you today about cat games. I love cat games. I collect cat games. Most of the cat games in my collection I've had a chance to play. Those that I haven't, I still like them because they have cats on them. I'm going to go through them, talk a little bit about them, and hopefully if you like cats and games, you'll find something to enjoy. First up, we have a classic, Rat-a-Tat-Cat. This game is published by Gamewright. Super fun. I've played this with kids, with family. It's always been a great time. You're putting cards face down in front of you, trying to get the lowest number. Easy to learn, easy to play. It's great. Up next, I want to say it's a classic because it's been in my collection for a while, but it's not really that old. And this is Cat Lady by Josh Wood, published by AEG. It's got a very clever drafting mechanic to it where you're taking a row or a column of cards, trying to get the best stuff and feed your cats. Adorable. The cats are super cute. It's easy to learn. It's great. Up next, I have several games by the designer Tatewu, who's had a rash of cat games come out lately, all of which have been great. First up, we have Cleopatra, Egyptian-themed cat game where you're moving triangles around and placing workers. Super easy to learn, super quick, nice small box, but there's some interesting strategy there, so I actually had a lot of fun with this cat game. Next, we have Cat Rescue, another game by Tatewu. This is adorable. The box is cute. There's a little cat cutout on the side. You're rescuing the cats. Obviously, it's a cooperative game where you're moving tiles around on a grid. Another easy to learn, super fun, fast game. I actually bought this for my niece and nephew because it was so fun. And they also love cats, of course, who doesn't? Next up, another game by Tatewu, Cat Sudoku. It's a roll and write cat game, Sudoku based. Haven't had a chance to play this yet because it just came in from Kickstarter, but I'm excited to give this a shot, maybe this weekend. We'll see. Up next is Schrodinger's Cats by Ninth Level Games. Haven't had a chance to play this yet. You're deducing how many alive or dead cats you have based on the Schrodinger experiment. A little dark that way, but the cats on it are super cute. The art is great, and can't wait to get a chance to check this game out. So the next few games I have feature cats, but aren't necessarily mechanically about cats, which I think still makes them exist in my collection because they have cute cats on them. Meow, hadn't had a chance to play this yet because it's a kind of a group game based on the game Mao, if you've played that, where someone knows the rules and you don't know the rules and you're kind of trying to play along and figure out the rules as you go. Excited to give this one a chance. Meow, got some cats in there. Up next, I have, of course, Calico by Flat Out Games and AEG, designed by Kevin Russ. This is one I got to play test. Haven't played the final version yet, but Flat Out Games is doing amazing things with their games. This one, it's about making a quilt, so not technically about cats, but come on, great cat on the front. Obviously, belongs in the cat game collection. Last but not least, I have Quirky Circuits. Again, not specifically about cats, but there's an adorable cat on a Roomba that features pretty heavily in the game, so I think it belongs. I love this game, cooperative, one of the most fun times I've had with games recently. This is by Niki Valens, and just very clever, simultaneous card placement, cooperative movement programming game. So if those things sound nice to you, you probably like that. That's all I have for cat games. If you like cats and games, check them out because they're great.
Hello everyone, my name is Estefania Rodriguez and I am a game designer. First of all, I'd like to thank Girls Game Shelf for inviting me to be part of the series finale of Bits and Bobs. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. So today I would like to talk to you about a term that I like to use in my creative process that I call simmering. So just like in cooking, food sometimes needs to simmer in order to become a full dish, in order to be full delicious. For me, creative projects need the same thing. So what that means for me is, for example, let's say I'm working on a project and I've been working it for a few hours now. But I've reached a point where I don't know where else to take it. Or maybe I think I'm almost done or I am done with it. At that time, I'd like to step away from the project, totally disconnect from it. And then hopefully at some time later, I would come back to it and have a fresh new outlook on it. Now, that period of time could be a few hours, could be a few days, could be a few months. Whatever that time is, that is what I call simmering. For me, creative projects need multiple simmering sessions. It's very useful to stop thinking about your project and let yourself breathe and let yourself hopefully have a new outlook when you come back to it. I know it's helped me a lot, and sometimes when you do come back to it, you'll be able to see if you made mistakes, or maybe you'll be able to truly see that you have finished your project. So again, that is the term that I like to call simmering. So thank you again so much for Girls Game Shelf for inviting me to be part of this. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and happy simmering, everyone.
Hi, I'm Talita. I'm a game designer, and I'm here to give some tips for those who want to be hobbyist game designers. I will tell you what I did, and maybe it inspires you. Well, first, I thought about the mechanics. I was in a game jam, and I thought I want to make a simple game since I have limited time here. And I thought, okay, rock, paper, scissors is a good mechanic, but I don't want my game to be only based on luck. And I worked a few hours, it was my challenge there. And I made a paper prototype with a few cards, like this one. At the game jam, I had a chance to test the game a little bit and get some feedback. And I decided to work further on the game. After a few months of working on tweaking the game, I saw the balancing was not quite good, so I drew more cards. And these cards were helping me to get a better idea how the game would work. The whole project took over 2 years to be done. I worked on testing the game, getting feedback, tweaking, proving, asking. I recommend playing with family and friends and ask their opinions and see if the game flows, if it looks good. As a hobbyist, time is your friend. So you don't have deadlines, you don't have pressure, you just do it for fun. You don't have to mind if the game is going to be published or not. You just do it the way you want to do. You can base your game on your favorite game, for example, because there you have this inspiration and then you can exercise your own mechanic together with the mechanic that you love. I recommend asking more experienced people if you can and see if they have more relevant tips to give you about the process of making your own game. You can make a prototype on paper like I did with my cards. But you can also use Tabletopia or Tabletop Simulator, for example, to make digital prototypes and then show your game around. Well, I hope I inspired you a little bit. Don't be afraid. Have fun, relax, take your time, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Hey there, friends. This is Rachel, coming to you with some holiday cheer.
And I'm Julie. We're sharing what's coming up this month on You're Invited, our show where we hand out some industry insights on what it's like to be a part of the board game world. This will be our second season. We made it a whole season. I know. And for the holiday season, we have some fun topics, right, Rachel?
You know it. Well, we're going to have our first guest co-host. And Debbie Moynihan, COO of White Wizard Games, is going to join us to discuss marketing tips and how in a season of sales, how do you stand out? So that's especially important right now since our retailers aren't able to demo games in the store because of the current health measures. So definitely things to learn. Also, we're going to revisit one of my favorite topics, work-life balance, to help us all stay on track with the busyness of holiday prep as business owners and at home as well. What are you going to share this season, Julie?
Oh, besides holiday cheer? Well, I'm looking forward to talking about more playtesting. Getting your game as polished and shiny as the star on the top of your Christmas tree, it's no easy trick. There are different types of playtesting to do depending on where your game is in the design process. Are you making huge changes? Well, then you're going to want a fellow designer or at least someone with game design experience in on that, but you're also going to want to keep your group small. Chances are you won't finish a full game, and so it's not about the holistic experience as much as shaping the full experience yet to come. Or do you need a sanity check on final flourishes? We know who's playtesting online, so do you have your game on Tabletop Simulator? Those questions answered and more this month.
And while you're getting ready, all your holiday food, fun treats, we're going to look for you on Friday mornings, 10:30 Eastern Standard. Yes, even on Christmas morning, where you're going to hear about these topics and lots of others.
So follow us on Facebook, tune in to our shenanigans, and don't forget, you're invited.
Hi, my name is Nalin, and I run Meeple Marketing. A lot of the time, people come to me when they want to market and launch their games on Kickstarter. I tell people that what they see at a Kickstarter launch is just the tip of the iceberg, really the tip of the iceberg. All that hard work underneath the surface that makes or breaks a campaign, you never really truly see. A great Kickstarter campaign starts with knowing who your audience is, right? Starts with knowing who your audience is. Starts with knowing if your audience likes, deck builders. Starts with knowing if your audience is the type of people who likes family-friendly games. Starts with knowing if your audience are the type of people who likes crunchy dungeon crawlers. If your audience are the type of people who likes party games. If your audience is the type of person who would sit for 5 hours, painting miniatures. Like, just knowing your audience is honestly one of the biggest humps of a crowdfunding campaign, of biggest humps of any marketing, honestly. And knowing your audience really helps to figure out how to market your game most effectively. Because knowing your audience tells you so many things, right? Knowing your audience tells you, one, where they hang out. And I know it's like a silly thing to talk about, but it really tells you where they hang out. Because if you know where your audience hangs out, you can hang out there too. For example, if your audience loves solo games, you bet you're going to be going into all these forums that talk about solo games. You bet you're going to be going into these Facebook groups that talk specifically about solo games. You bet you're going to be going to Reddit subreddits that talk solely about solo games, right? If you know where your audience hangs out, you'll be able to really engage with them on their home turf, on a territory that they feel comfortable in, so that you'll be able to speak their language and be where they are. Knowing your audience also tells you where you should be promoting your game. If you figured out that your audience loves to listen to anything by Meeple University, you bet you're going to be reaching out to Meeple University to have your game reviewed by them or have your game previewed by them. You bet you're going to do that. Knowing your audience also lets you get feedback directly from them. You're not making your game for everyone. You're making your game for a very specific person who likes a very specific type of game. And knowing your audience allows you to ask those people the questions that will make your game even more appetizing for the people you want to be marketing to, you want your games to get in front of. By doing that, so knowing your audience is one of the most important things of marketing a game, and a lot of people get this wrong. A lot of people think that their game is for everyone. A lot of people think that their game is for anyone who likes board games, which is really, really too broad. For example, if you have a worker placement game, some people don't like worker placement games. Some people just want to play a deck builder. Some people just specifically want to play party games. Some people specifically just want to play family-friendly games that are set collection based. There's very, very specific things that people like to do. And if you are able to figure out who your audience is for your particular game, you can tap into them and get in touch with them and get them excited for your particular game.
Oh yeah, that was my favorite part of the scenario too. Oh yeah, that one it surprised me. Oh, thank you so much for coming over and playing Unlock with Maybe and I. We really appreciated it. And honestly, I love having you here at my table with me. I love having all of the Girls Game Shelf people at my table. And okay, so maybe you all aren't here physically exactly, but that's what's neat about Girls Game Shelf is everybody's always everywhere. That sounds a little bit, I don't know, too big, but it's true. Girls Game Shelf has left a footprint on, I think, the heart and soul of the board game industry and board game content specifically. And I will say that when Girls Game Shelf started, what, 5 years ago? More than that now? I was jealous that such a thing existed, and we were already in the works of creating Board Game Blitz at that point, and I knew that what Girls Game Shelf was doing was going to be special, and honestly I kind of wanted to be part of it, and I was sad that I didn't live in Los Angeles, because if I did, I totally would have just like bust into those game nights and been like, hey y'all, I want to play games with you. And thankfully the wonderful ladies of Girls Game Shelf have welcomed me into their hearts, their friendships, their content, their everything. I'm not being very well spoken at the moment because I'm a little bit overcome with, you know, like this, it's not the end. That's the thing. Girls Game Shelf will exist forever because there are videos on YouTube and there are memories that we've all created, either those of us making content or consuming the content. And for what it's worth, I believe that Girls Game Shelf has been integral in diversifying content in the board game hobby. Maybe thinks so too. So y'all are always welcome at my table, and I don't just mean the women of Girls Game Shelf. I mean everyone that's watching this video right now, because if you are the type of person who watches this video, then you're my type of people. So what do you want to play next? Let's see, we've got Let's Make a Bus Route. I don't know, it's not perfect at 2, but it's still pretty fun. Oh, I've got Letter Jam here. What? Yeah, you can play Letter Jam with 2 people. It's actually still pretty fun with 2 people. Okay, if Maybe plays, we'll have 3, but honestly, she's not that good at spelling. So, okay, well, I know. We'll play Codenamed Duet. This is one of my favorite 2-player games, and since you are here now, we'll just play it together. And we'll think about all the good times that we've had and all the good times that'll come in the future. And this isn't goodbye. It is, let's see what comes next. And I'm pretty sure that because of Girls Game Shelf, what comes next is going to be pretty awesome. Bye for now.
Hi, I'm Liz O'Connell Chapman, and I am honored that AnnaMaria asked me to be part of this final episode of Bits and Bobs for Girls Game Shelf. I have been asked back to share more of my expertise in sustainability with you. I hope that you guys remember from my last time on Bits and Bobs that sustainability is more than the environment. There's social equity and economic viability. It takes all 3 of these pillars to hold up what we consider to be sustainable. And I like to start with social equity. Normally, I would encourage you to invite a diverse group of gamers into your gaming hobby. Unfortunately, the pandemic means that we're not inviting strangers anywhere. If you're like me, you're stuck at home with a lot of 2-player games and online gaming. However, you can still go online and follow game content creators and designers of different backgrounds and diversity and make positive comments. Get on to Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and say something nice. There's so many negative voices out there that the more those of us that want to encourage diversity and inclusion say positive things, the more normal it will be and the more included those people will feel. I also want to talk about the economics. So you can be part of the board game community and support economic board gaming through the buying and selling of used board games. You can go to websites like nobleknight.com. You can go to boardgameco.com. Even boardgamegeek.com has a couple of places to sell and buy used board games. Or you can go over to Reddit. They have got a thread called Board Game Exchange where you can look for selling games or look for games that you would like in your life. You can also let board game manufacturers know. We talked before about Kickstarter having an environmental commitments tab that you can use to help make some of your choices. And there you're going to find games like AnnaMaria that has committed to making their board game manufacturing as sustainable as possible. There's also companies like Stonemaier Games that creates a plethora of games. One of my favorites is Viticulture. And Stonemaier has worked really hard to be transparent about how they make board game manufacturing as low in impact as possible. So you can do your part as a consumer by letting those board game manufacturers know that that's important to you. You can also do your part once we start traveling and bring your own coffee mug when you go to the board game cafe, or bring your own water bottle when you go to the next board game convention. Maybe a water bottle is next on the list for Christmas for some of those that you know and love to get them to be sustainable in their life. I take it a step further when I travel. I bring my own silverware. This is a set made out of bamboo. And I bring my own plate and bowl, which this converts to be both things. There are a bunch of these out on the internet that you can find and buy for yourself so that when you travel to the board game cafe or the next convention, when that happens again, and be as sustainable as possible in your own life. Thank you so much. And remember, talk trash at the table, but don't trash our planet.
What's up, everyone? My name is Monica from geeksagogo.com, and I'm bringing you another makeup tutorial inspired by a board game. Today's makeup is inspired by one of the prettiest board games I've ever seen, and that is Azul. So in true Azul fashion, what I'm going to do is I have this amazing Azul bag, and I will let the bag determine which tiles or colors I am going to use on my eyes while I pick it out of the bag. So let's see what the first color is. Oh, that's interesting. There you go. I've got a good mix of colors so far. Now let's go back to the bag and pick another color. And oh, we got the blue on this time. Alright, next color. Oh, it's the Star Wars looking one. Alright, next color. Ooh, I like this one. here's the box. And here's my look. I mean, my overall look with the clothes and everything. So let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. I hope you guys like this tutorial. I wanted to save the best for last. And I'm really sad that I am saying this. You know, in the future, I really hope to run into everybody who's been a part of the Girls Game Shelf community. I would absolutely love to game with you or just hang out and have dinner or whatever. And I really hope everyone's keeping safe. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Once again, my name is Monica, and I'm from geeksagogo.com.
Hi everyone, I'm the Cardboard Kid. Everything has an ending. After 5 years, Girls Game Shelf is coming to theirs. In that time, these women accomplished so much. They brought unique personalities to the table and provided entertainment for all gamers. The first time I met AnnaMaria, it was overwhelming. I honestly don't know where I'd be without her. She's been incredibly supportive and so very kind to my family. She has such an upbeat attitude. It's been fun playing games with her online, and I hope to do that again sometime. The same goes for Kiki and Monique, who both have super cool families and are an absolute blast to play with online. I miss them. Michelle is the absolute sweetest, and I hope to get to know her, Beneeta, Fertessa, and Kaylee better soon. Fertessa is a game designer and producer. Her upcoming game, Book of Villainy, sounds awesome. Check it out. Even though Emma is one of the newest to the team, I think she was the first I met. We got to hang out a bit at Essen Spiel. She gave me a Stroopwafel, which is basically the best treat in the world. She also has a podcast called Pointless Parrot, and I'll be on an upcoming episode. I am honored that GGS shared some of their adventures with me, and I look forward to following my friends as they take their next journeys. I know that no matter what, they will continue to inspire women to create and share their voices. Thank you for that, for everything.
I have stuff in a glass.
I have stuff in a glass. Cheers, babe.
It's pineapple beer, which is my new thing right now. So I just put it in a glass so it looks swish, right?
I used to be such a snob about fruity flavored beers, but I am all about it. The trashier my beverage can be this year, the more I'm for it.
The best part now though is we are on the same coast. So if you just want to shoot the shit or we just want to play a game, I don't have to stay up till 2:00 in the morning.
I know, so much more doable.
Which I would do for you, of course, but this is also easier on the bags under my eyes.
Man, I love you, and I would do it for you if you needed me to, but I wouldn't like to. I like to sleep. I'm an old lady now with my sleep.
Or Joy, we can start an aerial silks and crocheting wine bottles troupe. But just the two of us. And we don't perform anywhere. We just mostly drink. And
it's just going to your backyard and sitting in a hammock and drinking wine, isn't it? That's really what it is.
Look, don't.
Because I tried to decorate. Remember that old Girls Game Shelf studio, the first one?
Yeah.
I tried to decorate it once. It looked like a frat boy's first apartment. I'm just I thought I would make it cute with Christmas lights or something, and I was like, no, this is bad. You know what was cool the other day? Being in the Slack with all the girls, and it started with me being alone, and I didn't even know Melissa, before all this happened. I met her through Girls Game Shelf too. And when it was me and Lysandra, the first director, and then it went just back to me, and then it was about to close, and then you came in, it was just us for the longest time, And then being in that group chat with all of those just kick-ass women. But I was just wow, look at all of the astounding women, in this one chat. And it's such a lovely Slack for me to go into, to be hey, kick-ass women, can I get your opinion on this and such and such, I feel we're lucky, right? That I feel lucky that you went and made this community bigger, because I have this community that I can call upon if I need their opinions, and I trust their opinions, and
it's been a long time since I felt like I had like a girlfriend circle like that, because, I mean, you know how it is, especially being like a mom and you've got kids and there's so many obligations and it's really hard to
It's
get
hard to
out.
foster those friendships.
It really is, and we grew that with 7 strangers on the internet. And it's just a bizarre, and if you told me a couple of years ago that would have happened, I would have said, there's no way that doesn't happen to real people. But
It doesn't happen, not in real life. They make movies about it.
well, one day they'll make a movie about us.
That's amazing. I'm
It's
lucky.
amazing that you got so much done with 3 little kids. Like, between starting the channel and the amazing work that you did on the channel, and then as it grew and became the thing that it did, and you were still like being this amazing mom and doing this amazing thing for the community. Like, I know we joke a lot about me like being on fire and doing, but the fact that you could juggle all that stuff is just, I don't know. I still think it's goddamn amazing. So
thank you. I think it was survival.
Everybody who joined the team brought something very new and fresh, which not only invigorated the rest of us, but then they could kind of pick up if there was any slack in that area. We're all a little stabby at heart. I think that's why we worked well together, because when it comes to shove, we'll all be stabby.
Well, that's why I started being stabby, because of Girls Game Shelf, because it was the first day we were filming, and I was just trying to play the way I normally do, and I was like, well, this is boring. Nobody's going to want to watch this. So I had to be an agitator. And then I was like, oh shit, that's fun. And a Take That fan was born. I'm excited to see what they all do. They're all going to go places, and we're going to be like in our hammocks drinking wine going, there's my baby.
They did so good. I do not doubt on many levels that we'll be saying, you remember when Felicia Day retweeted us right before Shelfapalooza and we were all freaking out? I can see us doing that about any member of this group. That, a couple years from now, so-and-so has 2 million followers on Twitter or whatever. And that makes me happy. That makes me really happy. The messages this made me really happy. Hearing.
Oh my gosh, some of the messages made me cry. People have told me stuff like, my wife started a gaming group of women because of the Girls Game Shelf series. Like, she wouldn't touch games beforehand. And like, our friend Haley, Tim's kid, that was such like our first fan. She sent me letters and so many beautiful messages that I don't think, like, I got a lot of love when I left Girls Game Shelf, but I don't think I realized how much this channel as a whole, so much bigger it's just bigger than I knew. And that feels so good.
You made something amazing, girl.
I started it, and it grew into more than what I had planned because of you and because of everybody else, and there was a need for it. The community wanted it, and the community made it happen with all of this support and love and suggestions. I have goosebumps about like all the great things that Girls Game Shelf did. And like, I'm saying like a lot. I feel really proud of us. I feel fulfilled by it. I don't feel sad that it's going away. Like I'm a little, it's bittersweet, right?
Yeah. There will be not only just something that emerges by someone else to kind of fill that void. I don't know if it's a void necessarily, but that spot, that space. And that everybody who's leaving is going to move on to some amazing, just amazing amazingness. Like, I don't have any better way to describe that. And that's going to be really fun to watch. Cardboard Kid's dad sent me a note. She embodies what I want to see this whole next generation of women in this industry be. Her Hannah Mullins, those are, right?
And brilliant and bold and not apologetic and interested, and she's so cool.
Not, like you said, unafraid, unabashedly knowledgeable and geeky, and no reason to apologize for it, no reason to qualify it, no reason to hide it. Just, I'm here, I like games, I know games, let me tell you about games. I didn't gain that confidence until I was in my 30s. These girls got into it when they're 11. It's another
Yeah.
reason why, though, I don't think I could ever completely leave the industry, because I want to watch. I want to see what's happening. I want to see where.
Hell
the
yeah,
next
I'm
thing
nosy
goes.
as fuck.
I wasn't going to call it that, but
Oh.
you know, if that's what it needs to be, that's what it is. Yes.
I have a question for you. What video, I'm just curious about video, are you most proud of that you made for Girls Game Shelf? What's your favorite one?
Bits and bobs aside, because I
Bits and
love
Bobs,
that show.
amazing. And you produced it, and yeah, it's beautiful.
I'm really proud of that one. Bits and bobs aside, the mind management video where I just went on that goofy Mission Impossible, you know, your mission should you choose to accept is this, with the sunglasses and everything. I think making that video, by the time I was done and put it all together and watched it, I was like, I'm a person who makes video now. Like, now I am actually a video content creator, because before I was showing people how to do games, but putting that one together, I was like, I wrote a script that was funny, and I said things, and it was cool, and you know, it felt right filming it. It came together really easily. It was probably one of my easier edits. So that one, mind management. What do you think, especially of the older stuff, is your favorite of all the videos?
Oh gosh. Oh gosh, there's so many for so many reasons, though, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Seven Wonders Duel is when me and Melissa kind of looked across the table and were like, hey, we're friends. Like, we're like real friends, you know? Like, it just solidified our friendship in a way, like, because we had to reshoot it a few times, and like, we started to have that antagonistic kind of friendship going back. Marrying Mr. Darcy, because it was hard to cut that because the entire thing was freaking hilarious. It was so fun. Eric was running the camera for us, and he had a really hard time not laughing the whole time. The three of us were just like in it. Cake Swap, which barely got any views, but god dang, that was fun. We had like an impromptu musical interlude in it. It was one of the first times Paula played, and it was one of the best set experiences. Like, that group was so just, it was magic when we all played it together.
The way the communities grew over the course of this year has been just phenomenal in a way, because people started reaching out and saying, I need you and things, and feeling like I'm gonna try out these online communities and just dive in because I need people.
Yeah, totally. And I feel like there's kind of this extra layer of understanding for everyone and everything. Like, there's always a little bit of checking in, be like, yeah, this is a rough time.
Of all the different things that we had done, Dice Tower West wound up being kind of the best for us, because we got to play so much that weekend and meet so many awesome people, between people that we already knew and folks that have been fans for ages that we knew but we hadn't met. And you know, we met Estefania there. We got to hang out with Emily all weekend.
Yeah.
At that moment, a sandwich debate was born. That has not stopped. So
Were you there when Beneeta on Slack? She was like, oh god, don't say the sandwich thing. I was like, it's AnnaMaria's fault. Everything's a freaking sandwich. Everything's like, are you in bed with a blanket over you? Bam, you're a sandwich.
This is my legacy.
But it's not a sandwich.
I mean, but it is a sandwich.
You did all the community management, remember?
Yeah, you know, I feel like I was good at the administrative part and getting all the tech set up, and you were good at pulling the dinosaur
hiding
puppet
from
out.
my children in a shower and talking about a game.
And people love that, and that's hugely relatable. I literally just told a couple of hundred people that being authentic, and you will find your tribe, and they will follow you and be fans of you. You found your tribe, and it's all the people who hide in the shower from the kids. It's relatable.
It's relatable.
I think that's another interesting way that the community has not just evolved this year, but grown, is everybody is getting to see. Even if people felt like they knew us because of the videos and all the content and stuff, they really got to know us this year.
Oh man, I don't have all of this shit to gossip about anymore.
We will have so much to gossip about. Well, it'll be gossiping about people at the community garden, and we'll be like, oh my god, did you see her radishes?
Are there beans? Oh my god.
What? What is she doing? That'll be great. I'm looking forward to that. So,
Cheers. I love you.
Girl, see you soon.
Bye.